What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, MLB DFS video. It is Thursday. It is May 1st. We have already made it through April. We are back. So if you've never been here before, we do things a little bit differently. We go through every single game that's on the slate. So we have 2 slates we can look at here on DraftKings. We're going to go through each pitcher, each team, look how they've done historically versus those pitchers. Also look how they've done this year in batter splits. So we can see which teams make sense. It kind of helps formulate a little idea and plan going forward. So this is your first look on the MLB slate. So every single day we give you a first look. These are through 10,000 simulations. We do 20,000 simulations a day, and I'm going to give you some of these things. So we're going to go through all of these games here. After that, we are going to give you all of the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating through 10,000 sims. Then we are going to give you the pitches be crazy, which is the top 5 pitchers on the slate according to the teams and the matchups that they have against the worst 5 teams that strike out the most on the slate. We don't always agree with them, but we'll kind of talk through that. Then after that, we'll do our Makin bacon bets. So we're going to go through bets. We're going to look at the batters that we like that have a great matchup to get over 1.5 bases, or maybe we even think they might get home runs. And then we'll look at some of the pitchers to see maybe what strikeouts we like, what the lines that look like right now, and what I would target if you're sports betting for the strikeouts for the pitcher. So again, if you're new to the channel, we have a giveaway. We have 2 giveaways every single video. Here's how you win. First off, you got to like this video. You got to be a subscriber to the YouTube channel, and you got to leave a comment. Hopefully it's a positive comment, but a comment nonetheless. Don't spam the comments, but you can leave a couple. If this video gets at least 50 likes, you will have a shot at a free week of FTA+. So that includes MLB, NASCAR, NBA, PGA, MMA, NFL once it comes back. If this video here gets at least 100 likes, you'll have a shot at a free month, 150 likes, a free year, 200 or more likes on this video, a chance at a lifetime pass. That being said, we have not given away a lifetime pass in over a year, and I want it to be today. So if you guys can get this to 170 likes, we will give away 2 lifetime passes. So I know you guys can do it. If we get the views, you get the likes on there. Leave the comment so you can have a shot as well. So you got to leave a comment to even have a shot if you leave a like. So that being said, we're going to see who the 2 winners are. The second winner is somewhere in the video, there'll be a keyword or key phrase. Listen for it and type it in, and you will have a shot at a free week of FTA+. So you could technically win twice a day. We've had that last week. It's been a minute. So the winner of just getting a minimum of the 50 likes is DFS Player 007. So congratulations. I do believe you have an account on the website. So please email me. The email is in the description of this video below. And so is our free Discord. But email me and tell me in the subject line that you are the 430 video views winner. And then let me know your username on the site, and we will get you set up for your free pass. Now, the keyword was in sync, but we're still going to re-roll it. We're still going to see who it is. So you do have a shot to win yet again. So we had it last week. It's been a while since we've had the same person win. And there you go, Sergeant Saint. There you go. You are a winner yet again. Please email me so I know you saw this, and we will get you set up. So that being said, we are always going to be using Outlier. Now, what I love about Outlier is you're always looking at like BVP history and all this stuff. This breaks it down into one simple step, and we can go into each game and we can look at it this way. So the link to sign up for Outlier is down below. If you guys sign up, I believe you're still going to get a free week pass to check out for 7 days. You're going to get the pro package. And then after that 7 days, if you guys sign up to the normal monthly pass for 20, we will give you a free week of FTA+ on top of it. If you sign up for their pro monthly package and you show proof that you used our link to do that, we're going to give you 2 months free of FTA+. So that being said, check it out. We are going to check out Outlier. Now, being the small amount of games that we do have, some just factors that we're looking, maybe we want to start targeting. Progressive Field has wind blowing directly out, plus 19% chance of home runs. Great American Small Park, anytime we're in this ballpark, we know it's the best odds for home runs normally. And then Guaranteed Rate Field, the Milwaukee Brewers at the White Sox, 12% chance of home runs as well, and the wind is blowing out in that matchup. So those are the top 3 games that you can be looking at. My problem is we've got some weather concerns for today, and not 100% sure what we are going to see with that. So Chicago at Pittsburgh, St. Louis at Cincy, Minnesota at Cleveland, Milwaukee at Chicago, all have rain and weather concerns. So this is, be very careful with this. So we look at the Chicago at Pittsburgh. I do love this matchup here. Paul Skeens, he's a stud. The Cubs offense has been really good, which has been wild to kind of see. You're not expecting it. And as of right now, one of the websites had the Cubs as the best odds to win the World Series, which is crazy because we're a month in and they're not the Dodgers. But again, the Cubs are ranked 14th with the Dodgers only striking out 8.1 times per game. But Paul Skeens is Paul Skeens. He's got 2.39 ERA. He's got 39 strikeouts in those games, coming off a really good start against the Dodgers. 5 hits allowed, 9 strikeouts. If he can strike out basically that is what the Dodgers strike out per game. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here as well. So kind of looking at this, I really like Paul Skeens here going up against the Cubs. I think if you want to go contrarian, you could obviously go the Cubs bats here because they would be off of him. They haven't seen him much, basically 2 starts, the equivalent of 2 starts. Nico Horner does have a home run against him. Against right-handed pitching, though, and this is why I like the breakdown on Outlier, you can see on the screen right now, the majority of the Cubs actually hit lefties a little bit better. But again, if you are you want to go contrarian and you want to go with a stack here. Carson Kelly, 394 batting average with 6 bombs and 33 at-bats against righties this year if he gets the start. Michael Busch, 81 plate appearances or at-bats, 296 batting average, 5 home runs against righties as well. Pete Crow Armstrong batting over 300 with 4 bombs. You got Kyle Tucker batting 304 with 4 bombs as well. So weather is a concern, something to monitor. While everyone, I believe, will be obviously on Skeens for a great reason. If you want to be contrarian, a Cub stack kind of makes a little bit of sense because the ownership should be very low. And if somehow he has a bad start, that's not very often that he does. But if he does overall, you should be up on the field a lot. But I will have exposure to Paul Skeens as well. Colin Ray, on the other hand, he does have the 5th best matchup for pitchers against teams that strike out. So against the Pirates, they really haven't seen him a ton. Just kind of here and there. Henry Davis and Brian Reynolds both have home runs. They've hit him very well for whatever reason. And then we look at the right-handed pitching. It's kind of up and down here. If I were to use any of these bats against him, because let's say the weather is not a concern and it moves and the storm's out of there. Adam Frazier batting 278 against righties this year. Brian Hayes batting 280. You got IKF batting 303. O'Neal Cruz batting 300 with 7 bombs. Brian Reynolds batting 238 with a home run, but he has had success against Ray in the past. I don't mind those guys. A cheap option. It could be a cheap stack. It just depends on who's going to be in there. So honestly, if I were to take a pitcher in this one, it would be Skeens, but I think a sneaky stack could be the Cubs today. Let's just monitor the weather. Obviously, if it's going to rain during the game, pretty much going to scrub the game or scrub the starting pitching there. Kind of the same cell system here. You got St. Louis versus Cincy. Andrew Abbott versus Matthew Liberatore. Liberatore 1 start against the Reds, 21 plate appearances, 167 batting average. And then Andrew Abbott, 78 plate appearances, 214. It's always kind of iffy to take pitchers in this ballpark. We've talked about that in the past because it's Great American Small Park. The ball is flying, the wind is blowing out if the rain holds off. So we kind of look at this. Andrew Abbott coming in, 3.60 ERA. The strikeouts are kind of low, though. 20 strikeouts in 3 starts. It's okay, actually. I thought he had more than 3 starts under his belt. Did, give up 4 earned runs against Colorado and 5 walks. So his it was a very bad game for him. It's very hard to want to take a pitcher in that ballpark, even if Colorado does strike out the most out of any team. If he doesn't get these strikeouts early, and they give up some runs in Coors, it's probably a wrap. And that's kind of what we saw with Andrew Abbott here. So he really hasn't seen much of St. Louis overall in his career. And the weather is a concern here. Liberatore on the flip side of that, 3.19 ERA, 28 strikeouts. Strikeouts they're pretty good. Going up against Cincy, he has not faced them this year. Splits wise, again, we've had 5 starts so the splits are kind of not usable 100%, but you can see on the road, he's got a 4.85 ERA, so it's a little bit worse. He's had some great starts, and then he's had some historically bad games in his career. So great start against Philly there, not a good start against LA, not really a good start against Pittsburgh. And what I mean by that is kind of like with DraftKings or FanDuel or basketball or baseball, whatever you're looking at, you always want to find what's like the bare floor minimum value. And basically the equation that we found out is the minimum floor you want to look at is about 2 to 2.5 times value. What I mean by that is you're looking at 7,700 for him. So he's got to get at least 2 times value, so 15.4, or 2.5 to 3 times value there. Now, I don't think he gets that in this one. Now, again, I'll let you guys know right now, I'm not always right. I have been wrong in the past. There are going to be times that I'm wrong sometimes. And I think that's kind of what, I'm not going to, if I was right all the time, I wouldn't have to make these videos because I would be a millionaire. But what I'm saying is, we're trying to make you better DFS players, so I'm trying to get you guys in a great mindset. I don't know if I trust Liberatore in this one. So if we were to look at the bats, I don't know if I trust either of the pitchers, to be honest. But Nolan Arenado does have 2 home runs against Abbott, 462 batting average in this ballpark. If the weather holds off, I do love Nado a little bit here. Wilson Contreras, batting 600 with a home run. Nolan Gorman has a home run. Mason Wynn yesterday on Wednesday had a pretty good game. Obviously played 2. Arenado batting over 300 this year against lefties. Like, they don't hit lefties as well, but if you want to take some exposure, Arenado makes a ton of sense for me. Brendan Donovan, I'm all over here. Alec Burleson, I'm probably looking at a little bit. Jordan Walker batting 320. I'm looking at all of these guys. Then the Reds bats against Liberatore. No one's really had success, but this ballpark scares me a little bit. As you can see, though, they actually don't hit lefties as well. They haven't seen very many lefties, though, like a handful. Ellie batting 250 with a couple of bombs, 10 RBIs. So he has hit lefties kind of well, especially in this ballpark. I would look at him. I would look at Noel V. Marte. I would look at Spencer Steer a little bit, but he only batting 291 or 0.091 against lefties. Austin Hayes has been on fire. He's definitely an option you could look at there. Trevino or Austin Wynns, depending on which catcher is in there, I don't mind them. But I am probably fading the pitching in this one. The weather concerns me, and the offenses concern me to take a pitcher against. So then we move to Kansas City at Tampa Bay. We got Seth Lugo versus Shane Baz. Lugo, 26 plate appearances in Tampa Bay. Now remember, this is not Tropicana. This is a small ballpark. It is George Steinbrenner Field. It is a spring training ballpark that has allowed some big home runs and some big runs this year so far. So Baz coming in here against Kansas City. Overall, 9 plate appearances. He really has not seen them at all. Against San Diego, though, 7 innings, 6 Ks, 28.2. Fantastic numbers there. Almost 3.5 times value there. Not a good start against the Yankees, 5 earned runs. Great start against Boston. A decent start against the Angels, and then a really good start against Pittsburgh. So if you look at like the trends, now Kansas City's offense has not been hitting as well as we're used to last year, but you still got to contend with Bobby Witt Jr. That's the Achilles heel in this one. So if we dig into the numbers a little bit, against Shane, really haven't seen him. Jonathan India has a home run. That is it. So they have not seen him against right-handed pitching this year. You do have Drew Waters would be a cheap outfield option, especially on a small slate at 300 batting average, a home run. You got Bobby Witt Jr. this year batting 298 against right-handed pitching, 2 home runs there. Those would be the 2 that like make sense. Sal Perez batting 233. He hits righties better than lefties, but he's only batting 233. Kind of concerning, but if you're looking for a full stack, I'm okay with that. But overall, like, I don't feel like Kansas City, like, I won't have a ton of exposure to a stack, like a Drew Waters for an outfield relief at his price. A Bobby Witt Jr. I would pay up for. I would pay up for Kyle Isbell and Sal Perez as well. So you can look at it that way. And again, the ballpark plays very small, so we could take advantage of that. Tampa Bay against Seth Lugo overall. Yeah, looking at this, we can see that Danny Jansen, 333 batting average against Lugo. I mean, 1 for 3, 1 home run. So that one hit's been a home run. They really haven't seen him. Now Lugo comes in, and I believe he's struggling. Got a 3.08. So I say struggling. He's got a 3.08 ERA, but after last year, anything above that is struggling. 2-3 record. He's just not getting the run support. Like Houston, went 8 innings in that game, 8 strikeouts, 2-0. Could barely get any run support, but had his best start of the year there. Tampa Bay's offense is not as good. If I were to take Tampa Bay bats, it's probably Brandon Lau. It's Chandler Simpson I would look at. He's got a lot of speed. I would look at Jonathan Aranda batting 338 with 4 bombs. Junior Caminero batting 276 or 267 with 4 bombs. Those would be the ones that I'd look at if I were to stack here. But Seth Lugo for cheap, like a cheap pitching option on a smaller slate, I'm okay with that. So, I mean, he's 8,200, so he's not that cheap, but I would look at that for sure in this game. My only problem is this is a very small playing ballpark. Minnesota at Cleveland is the next game. You got Simeon Woods Richardson versus Ben Lively. SWR against Cleveland. He has not faced them this year. He's coming off a great start against the Angels, where we took him because the Angels, I think, were the second most strikeout team at the time, and they still are. 7 strikeouts in that game. Now he goes up against Cleveland. Cleveland striking out, though, they are 7th. They only strike out, and there's 23 other teams that are worse than them. So they don't strike out a ton. He comes in with a 4.07 ERA. I don't think I like that. He has had mild success, though, against this team. So that is like everything's going back and forth. It is a plus. If you weren't going with, SWR and you wanted to go with Cleveland bats, and you can see like Bo Naylor has a home run against him. Steven Kwan has a home run. Manzardo has a home run. The bats that I would look at if I were to stack in this one, I would look at Steven Kwan, who's batting 351 with 4 bombs this year against right-handed pitching. He's just hitting righties very, very well. He's getting on base. He's also stealing bases. So those are all fantasy points. Brian Rocchio, you could look at batting 260. He doesn't have a home run against righties yet. I would look at him. J-Ram, I would look at. He's let me down, but I would look at him. I'd also look at Kyle Manzardo as well. So you could look at all of these, kind of get a feel for it. I don't know if I trust Simeon Woods Richardson. I think I would rather look at Cleveland bats. And then Ben Lively, Minnesota really hasn't seen him. Against right-handed pitching, though, this year, they're doing pretty well. The ones I would look at, Ryan Jeffers, I usually like to take him against lefties, but I'm okay taking him here, batting 283 against righties this year. Ty France had a home run for us on Tuesday night. I would look at him again, batting 279 against righties. Got Harrison Bader batting 263. You got Trevor Larnach batting 244. Like, I like these. Byron Buxton only batting 225, but he can get a hold of one. Got 5 bombs against righties this year. He could also steal some bases. And like I say, almost every time they're there, I want to take Buxton until he gets hurt. So pitching-wise, there's other pitchers that I'm looking at. I'm probably not looking at the pitching in this one. But again, this is a big thing. The weather might play a part in this game, so we kind of got to pay attention there. Arizona at the Mets is next. You've got Kodai Senga versus Zach Gallen. So Senga comes in, 37 plate appearances, .086. This is a pitcher's ballpark. We've talked about that. He's been like one of the lone bright spots for this pitching staff with his 1.26 ERA. 3-1 record. The strikeouts are kind of low, though, for as many starts as he's had. Basically hovering right around 4 to 5. Going up against Arizona. Arizona as a team, they strike out 6th least, so 7.3. So they just don't strike out a ton. So, it's up in there. You see this, he's pitched 2 at home, has a 0 ERA at home. Again, if he could get some run support behind him, he's got a great matchup. And then Zach Allen comes in, unbeknownst territory for me here. 5.57 ERA. I'm not used to seeing him with a 5.57. Game log, he really had, his first start against the Yankees, or his second start was against the Yankees, 43.2 at 13 strikeouts. Ever since then, though, like -2, 14, 6, 13. So if he follows that pattern, this could be a bad game here against the Mets. I don't know if I trust him. It's hard to even look at him as a trustworthy candidate here. Looking at the bats that we could look at, Senga, honestly, they have not had success against him. Against right-handed pitching this year, like Corbin Carroll batting 329 with 8 bombs, he obviously makes sense. Havin Smith batting 348 with 4 bombs. You could look at him. Josh Naylor batting 351 with 4 bombs. Like, these all make sense. Other than that, like, I don't trust Arizona's offense enough. I would look at Senga. And then Mets bats against Gallen, like Vientos has a home run. Soto has a home run. But Soto's batting 214 with 3 bombs against righties this year. Like, maybe Zach Gallen is his cure, so maybe you throw him in there, but he's let everyone down way more than he has not. Lindor batting 315 with 5 bombs against righties I would look at. I'm overall looking at a Mets stack of some sort. It'll obviously be anchored by Lindor and Alonso. And then it just depends on the lineup that comes out. It's a Friday or it's a Thursday. So we'll wait to see which one, like who's going to be in these lineups. But I'd be looking at, a Vientos on top of it. Starlin Marte, I know he's only batting 194, but does have a home run against righties. Could be this one here. Again, though, this is a pitcher's ballpark, so that is always something I'd look at. But in conclusion of this game, I don't trust Gallen enough. I would look at Senga, and I would look at the Mets as a stack. Milwaukee at Chicago, there is weather concern here. You got Chad Patrick versus Sean Burke. Patrick, 2.46 ERA, 4.1 innings his last start against St. Louis. Like, he's had some good starts. This is a perfect matchup for him. It's against the White Sox. You would look at him. The fact that he's 8,000 that might be too much for him. I know who he's going against, but that might be too much. Sean Burke, on the other hand, going up against the White Sox, $5,000 is his salary. Past couple of starts, he's got 5 innings or more pitched. But other than that, like, he's still giving up earned runs in every game except for the first game against the Angels, where he had a good game, but low amount of strikeouts there. 21.1 is what he put up. That's the best game he's had. He's had a couple of negative games. I don't trust Sean Burke. I would look at Milwaukee as a stack here. That should be the consensus overall, I would assume. But if we look at this game, Milwaukee bats have never faced him before, so sometimes you do get a run there. So at 5,000, I think it makes sense to make multiple different lineups. Have him in at least a couple, especially on DraftKings where you get 2 pitchers. He's $5K. He's very cheap. He will allow you to pay up other positions. But if I weren't to go with him and I want to go with a stack, William Contreras, batting 297. Eric Haase, I don't know if he'll start, but batting 308 this year against righties. Jake Bauers would be a cheap option. Rhys Hoskins batting 300 against right-handed pitching I would look at. Got Bryce Terang batting 348. The anchor for the Milwaukee lineup is Bryce Terang. And then I would follow that up with probably William Contreras, Caleb Durbin, Rhys Hoskins, and you got it, Jackson Churio or Christian Yelich or both of those. So this one feels depending on the weather, this one feels kind of like one of those where when I make multiple different ones, like making 2+ different stacks of Milwaukee makes sense. So what I mean by that is the most you can have on FanDuel is 4. The most you can have on DraftKings is 5 for position players. And if there's like 6 that you like, make different stacks using Milwaukee. So Milwaukee makes a ton of sense there. If you aren't going Chad Patrick and you're going to go White Sox bats, I guess I didn't realize Bobby Dahlbeck was with the White Sox, but he is. If he gets the start there, he could be a cheap option. Benintendi could be a cheap option. Michael A. Taylor could be a cheap option. Andrew Vaughn only batting 169 against righties, but he could be a sneaky option for you guys if you want to go White Sox, because that stack's probably going to go very under-owned. And then the last game on the main slate here, you've got the Athletics versus the Rangers, Tyler Mahle versus Jeffrey Springs. So Mahle, I don't understand. Every time it comes up, I don't understand how he's pitching like this. Same thing happened his last start when I said we had to take him against San Francisco because it was a pitcher's ballpark. 5 innings, 2 earned runs, only 1 strikeout. That's the problem. The strikeouts are a problem. He's got a great ERA. He's just not missing a lot of bats here. Did have 9 strikeouts against the Angels, which the Angels strike out second most out of any team. He's going up against the Athletics. Now, the Athletics, I'm pretty sure, don't strike out very much. They strike out 5th least, so 7.37. So, I don't trust him. I mean, his ERA is low, but the strikeouts aren't there. So, I can't pay $8,500 for not a minimum of 5 strikeouts. And then Jeffrey Springs, we just stacked against him last start against the White Sox. 7 runs, 5 of them earned, 4 strikeouts. It worked out for us. We had a low ownership in Chicago White Sox stack, and we were all over Jeffrey Springs. Coming in here against Texas, he has not faced them this year, but I don't trust Jeffrey Springs whatsoever. So we can go over here to Outlier, go to this game right here, and we'll take a little look at it. Texas bats against Springs. Marcus Semien has 3 home runs against him, but Marcus Semien is struggling right now. Overall, Marcus Semien, I believe, batting 178 with 2 bombs. He's just looked terrible. Coming off his, the 29th against the Athletics. They put up 15 runs, 17 fantasy points in that game. Like, that makes sense. He's got a great matchup, and he's sub 3K. He makes a ton of sense that I think a lot of people might be off of in this one, just because of how bad he's been overall. Against left-handed pitching this year, honestly, they really haven't hit very well. Like, I would look at Jake Berger. I would look at Wyatt Langford. I would look at Kevin Pillar as a cheap option. I would look at Marcus Semien a little bit. And then it just depends if it's Higashioka or Jonah Heim for catching. I would get them in there for a full stack. So I don't trust either pitcher. Tyler Mahle's too expensive for me. He's not striking out very many people. And I don't trust Jeffrey Springs. I'd rather look at the Rangers bats. So the main slate is done. All 7 games are covered. We are now going to do the afternoon or the night slate. 4 games to cover it, and weather looks, as of now, looks good in these games. So I'm okay with that right now. So the first game, we got Washington at Philly as the next one here. So if we look at this game, you've got Brad Lord versus Taijuan Walker. Now, Taijuan Walker, 2.78 ERA. Brad Lord comes in. Why doesn't it show an ERA? He's got a 4.67 ERA. The problem is he's not going deep into games. You're not starting him. He's gone 4 innings the most. He's 7. The fact that he's not gone over 5 innings, 1 start, and he's 7K, I don't trust that. 13 strikeouts in all of those innings he's not missing bats either. And then Taijuan Walker coming in, 2.78 ERA. Honestly, he has not hit value since his second start against the Braves when the Braves were struggling. Now, he's got a matchup here. I'm off of the pitching in this one. It is a 4-game slate. I don't know if I'll play this slate, but I'm off of the pitching. I would look at the bats. Bryson Stott, Bryce Harper are the 2. Schwarber, Schwarber, it's boomer bust, home run or nothing out of him. Max Kepler batting 284. I would look at. Trey Turner is another one I'd look at as a stack here. JT Realmuto batting 299 against righties. And then Washington bats against Taijuan Walker. Josh Bell's 231 batting average against him with 1 home run. So, I mean, he's kind of seen him. But against right-handed pitching this year, you can see the majority of the team hits better against righties. So, give me Keibert Ruiz. Give me CJ Abrams. Give me Luis Garcia. Give me Nate Lowe. Nate Lowe would not be surprised if he hits like a 3-run home run today. Give me those guys. Give me James Wood on top of it. I'm not looking at pitching. I'm looking at bats in this one. Boston at Toronto, both pitchers actually have a matchup for decent matchup for teams that strike out. Barrios coming off his best start of the year. No, it's not his best start, but a decent start against the Yankees. 5.1 innings, no earned runs. The strikeouts are low. His strikeouts have been low pretty much every single game, except for the game against the Washington Nationals where he put up 20.6. The way Boston has been hitting, I don't trust him. He's got a 4.24 ERA. That I don't trust his numbers in this. I can't. I'd rather look at Boston as a stack. Tanner Houck, kind of the same thing. 7.58 ERA. Had a good start against the White Sox. You're supposed to have a good start against the White Sox. But a bad start against Cleveland. A terrible start against Tampa Bay. Scares me there. I'm off of the pitching. I will look at the bats, though. So if we're looking at Toronto bats against Houck in their career, Varsho's the only one who has a home run. Then you look against right-handed pitching this year. They honestly haven't done as well, but I'm still probably stacking here. Houck, I just don't trust him. I would look at Vlad Guerrero. I would look at Santander. I would look at George Springer, Bo Bichette. You could look at Alejandro Kirk as a cheap catching option for the day. And then Boston bats against Barrios. Like Alex Bregman has 2 home runs. He's looking great. Rafi Devers has been coming on strong lately. I would look at him. He's got a couple of bombs. Jarren Duran has 3 home runs against Barrios. I would look at Jarren Duran. On top of that, I would look at Trevor Story, Wilyer Abreu, Christian Campbell, like all of these. So today, Boston makes sense for 2+ stacks, 2 different ones. There's like pretty much, I love Boston as a huge stack today. I would not look at Barrios for pitching at all. I would go Boston. Detroit at the Angels is next. Casey Mize versus Yusei Kikuchi. Both of these have a top 5 matchup because the team strike out in the top 5. Casey Mize coming in against the Angels. 2 really good starts in a row. A bad start against Minnesota. A great start against the Yankees in Seattle. So Casey Mize has only had 1 start this year that wasn't very good. Now he gets an Angels team that strikes out the second most and they strike out 10 times a game at home. Love me some Casey Mize here. On the flip side of that, the Detroit Tigers strike out the third most out of all active teams today. Kikuchi, we did not use him against Minnesota. We did use him against San Francisco and Texas. He's been very up and down. Which one are we going to get? I don't know, because the way Detroit's been hitting, Detroit's offense has been pretty good this year. So then we can look at how they've done against lefty pitching this year. I don't know why it's saying Kyle Hendricks. Is it going to be Kyle Hendricks or Kikuchi? He last pitched on Saturday, so it should be his turn. It could be Hendricks. It looks like it's probably Kikuchi. But Detroit, I would look at Detroit. The bats I would look at for Detroit: Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, Harry Carpenter, Zach McKinstry, Dingler. You could look at as well. I will have exposure to both though. And then the Angels bats against Mize, they really haven't had success against right-handed pitching. Kind of up in the air. Like Jorge Soler had a big home run on Wednesday. He's got 4 bombs against righties this year, or 5. Joe Adell, Nolan Schanuel, Zach Neto. But other than that, Logan O'Hoppe as well has got 7 bombs. I like Casey Mize here. I'll have exposure to Casey Mize and Detroit offense. And if it is Kikuchi, I will have a little bit of exposure to Kikuchi. But if it is in fact Kyle Hendricks, I don't want Kyle Hendricks against Detroit. I would stack Detroit even more if it is Kyle Hendricks. And then the final game, we got Colorado at San Francisco. It is a pitcher's ballpark. Colorado's the team that strikes out the most out of any team. You do have Verlander here. He's got a 5 ERA, basically. The strikeouts are kind of 5 and 6 his last 2 starts. Great matchup against Colorado here. At home in a pitcher's ballpark. Could be pretty good for him. So we look at this. Verlander overall this year doesn't look like he looks every bit of 40 plus years old pitching. Let's put it that way. Colorado against Verlander, you do have Kyle Farmer with a home run. That is it. Against right-handed pitching, they have done pretty okay. But I would look at Verlander a little bit. But if you want to go contrarian, maybe Nick Martini if he gets in there, Ryan McMahon, Brenton Doyle, Jordan Beck, I would look at a little bit. Michael Togliai, I would look at a little bit there. San Francisco bats against Kyle Freeland. Tyler Fitzgerald with 2 home runs. Wilmer Flores with a home run. Mike Yastrzemski with a home run against Freeland. I would look at a stack here. I would look at San Francisco as a stack. So on top of those, I would look at Matt Chapman. I would look at Elliot Ramos. Jung-Ho Lee, 351 batting average against lefties this year, lefty on lefty matchup. Again, it's a pitcher's ballpark, but I would look at San Francisco as a stack and a little bit of Verlander just because of how much the Rockies do strike out. So there you have it. That is the breakdown of all of the games that are on the main slate and the night slate here for you. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give you all of the batters that currently have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating. Now the record is from yesterday. We had 38 in yesterday's video. Thursday, not as many. So, matchup, Jose Ramirez, number 1 against Woods Richardson. Number 2 is Bryce Harper. 3 is Bryce Terang. 4 is Christian Yelich. 5 is Stephen Kwan. 6 is Kyle Schwarber. 7, Trey Turner. 8, Bryson Stott. 9, James Wood. 10, William Contreras. 11, Brandon Lau. 12, Alex Bregman. 13, Carlos Correa. 14, Vladdy. 15, Nick Castellanos. 16, Rafi Devers. 17, Dylan Cruz, 18, Nate Lowe, 19, Matt Chapman, 20, Josh Bell, 21, Elliot Ramos, 22, Brendan Donovan, and 23, Tyler Fitzgerald versus Kyle Freeland. So if you kind of just look at this, like in a lot of Washington bats, Milwaukee bats, Philly as well. So that being said, those are your matchups. Now we're going to look at the pitches be crazy. Now, again, I don't necessarily like all of these, but these are the top 5 pitchers against teams that strike out the most. Number 1, Justin Verlander versus Colorado. Colorado is striking out 10.34 times per game, 10.53 on the road. You've got Casey Mize against the Angels. Angels are striking out 9.79 times per game, 10 even on at home. Number 3, if it is Yusei Kikuchi versus Detroit. Detroit is striking out 9.2 times per game, 10.43 on the road. Barrios versus Boston. Boston is striking out 9.1 times per game, 9.47 on the road. And the final one, Colin Ray at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is striking out 8.8 times per game, 8.93 on the road. So I don't trust many of them. I don't know if I could trust Barrios. I don't think he gets deep into the game. Verlander with his 5 ERA scares me a little bit, but those are what I'd look at. So 1 is Verlander, 2 Mize, 3 Kikuchi, 4 Jose Barrios, and 5 Colin Ray. And then finally, we've got Makin Bacon bet. So we're going to look at all the batters that we like for 2+ bases today, and then we'll look at some of the pitching. So number 1 is Jose Ramirez. Number 2 is Steven Kwan. 3 is Vladdy. 4 Bryce Harper. 5 Nick Castellanos. There's a ton today. 6 Alex Bregman. 7 Brandon Lau. 8 Elliot Ramos. 9 Trey Turner. 10 Bryson Stott. 11 Bryce Turang. 12 Rafi Devers. And 13 Kyle Schwarber. So there's 13 bats that have fantastic matchups. We're not looking at weather right now. Obviously weather will flip and change throughout the day. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. And then if we look at the strikeouts, so pitchers, I'm not doing much today here. But looking at this, you say Kikuchi, I would look at, if you could find a line for 5+ strikeouts, I would look there. Zach Gallen, 5+ strikeouts. Paul Skeens, 6+ strikeouts. Kodai Senga, 5+ strikeouts. And Justin Verlander, 6+ strikeouts as well. So those would be the pitchers. And then you could look at Casey Mize, 5+ strikeouts, or 6+ strikeouts if you want to tease the line a little bit. Those are where I'd look at. Those are the Makin Bacon bets. So we have broken down the entire slate. If you want to see everything else, I would check back about an hour or two before first pitch on the main slate. We'll update the matchup tool with 20,000 sims. We'll do simulations. We'll do matchups, BVP matchups, batter splits. We've got it all for you. So that is what I've got in this video. Hopefully it's a little bit longer than what you're probably used to, but hopefully it helps you bring home the bacon. Hopefully it helps you be a better DFS player. And if it is, great. If you need a little bit more help, go check out FTA Plus. We've got you covered. All passes give you all sports. So it's not like a weekly pass only for MLB. A weekly pass gets you every single sport. We have some optimal lineups on the cheat sheet to kind of get you in a good mindset there. And yeah, that's what we've got. Let's have a fantastic Thursday. Good luck today. And as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.